Okay. Hello, everyone. Welcome to what many have said. Well, maybe not many, but I know at least one person has said that this is their favorite story in the entire game of all 8 classes. And I can perfectly understand why. This is the story of the Imperial Agent. So, rather than following the story of a member of the Sith or one of the bounty hunters of the Mandalorians, we instead get to see a somewhat more down-to-earth perspective on what's going on, because we have seen things from, how Sith are, dealing with things, and the bounty hunters, they're just doing their jobs. But how often we get to see that from the perspective of the people who just serve the Empire, who are part of the Imperial, branches and, parts of the whole entire organization that is part of this whole faction. We don't necessarily get to see it all that often because we're usually following the big important people, the Force users and such. But here's something interesting. We get to follow the story of just an agent who doesn't have any powers, is just a special agent. So if you're into, say, spy stuff and espionage and subterfuge, James Bond stuff, then this story might be more for you, and we get to see what it's like to deal with some of these other things. Because sometimes in the other stories, like as a Sith, we can deal with them with using the power of the Force. Here we have to actually rely on other things in order to get the job done in service for the Empire and such. In a much more, there's the... It's... In comparison to the Sith, as I'm saying, I'm trying to kind of give this a nice comparison. One of my personal examples I would immediately think of off the top of my head when trying to get this point across, if you're familiar with the CW superhero shows, we used to think of the Flash show as we get to see like the superpowers perspective, with all the crazy superpower stuff. And then we get to see a more down-to-earth perspective with Arrow, for example. It always felt more down-to-earth in comparison to Flash. I know it's not the best example or comparison, but if you've seen those shows, you kind of know what I'm talking about. That's kind of how my dad and I used to discuss those shows, and how those two different perspectives and feels for those shows kind of helped kind of go one with the other, right? And that's kind of what this feels like. We now get a non-Force using down-to-earth perspective of what's going on in this whole thing while playing an Imperial agent with no superpowers, just our intelligence and our equipment and our ability to adapt. Because, of course, a special agent in service to the Empire has to be able to do so, right? So, I'm not playing a human, as you can see. This is one of those classes that actually almost encourages you to play one of the unique races, which is the Chiss, as you can see here. The thing I find interesting about the Chiss is not necessarily their blue skin, it's the eyes, because you really don't see any actual pupils there, and I just find that kind of interesting. So I'm going to go ahead and play with this one here. We're also playing a female, because, well, as I have kind of been doing, I like to point out great voice acting and show it off when I can. Now, I've played through the entire story as a dark side sniper agent, male. And I don't think the male voice actor is bad or does a bad job, but I don't know. It just doesn't quite hit it for me. Now, in comparison to the female agent, who is voiced by, well, take a gander if you can spot this voice.
I'm a loyal servant of the Empire. I'm very good at my work.
That is Joe Wyatt. Some of you may know her as Hawk from Dragon Age. She's also done a lot of other stuff as well. She was Dr. Cole in Mass Effect 3. She's done a lot of voice acting work. I really, really like Joe Wyatt. So, I'm going to go ahead and show her off in terms of her performance in this game throughout this story. And if you're curious, yes, we're going to try and do the Vector romance. Not necessarily one of my favorite romances. My male agent romanced, oh gosh, what's her name? Renson Temple, I think is her name. Kalia is also an interesting romance. I would kind of put the Kalia romance almost on par in similarity with Jack from Mass Effect 2. But, it's not a bad one, especially because I've heard it continues forward in the later expansion content. I haven't gotten to that content yet or checked it out, so I can't really speak to that to see how much of a payoff there is there. But, yeah. So, anyways. Assassin, Saboteur, the Empire's secret weapon. The Empire dominates scores of star systems across the galaxy, but not through the power of the dark side alone. Behind the scenes, the cunning agents of Imperial Intelligence track down and eliminate the Empire's enemies, from intractable Republic senators to traitorous Imperial moths to bloodthirsty rebels with Republic ties. Imperial agents must master the arts of infiltration, seduction, and assassination to advance the Empire's causes. They face the opposition of a terrified galaxy and the capriciousness of their own Sith overlords. Imperial Intelligence cultivates a notoriously vast and efficient network of informants, enabling the agent to navigate the galaxy's political landscape with effortless suave. Naturally, the agent's allegiance to the Empire is without question, but great latitude exists for those so closely attuned to the Empire's secret agendas. Agents often harbor their own mysterious motivations as well. Having pierced countless layers of intrigue, these spies know of conspiracies within conspiracies. Even close contacts find it hard to predict what an Imperial agent will do until it is done. The most elite operative within Imperial Intelligence is the Cipher Agent. Recruited and trained to carry out the most dangerous and sensitive assignments the Empire has to offer. Whether working undercover or carrying out assignments in broad daylight, the Cipher races the Cipher races along the razor's edge of disaster, using carefully orchestrated tactics that leave little room for error. The smallest slip-up can be catastrophic. Each successful mission, however, shifts the galactic landscape in the Empire's favor, and the agent plays a supremely critical role in securing Imperial domination. Relations with the Sith? The upper echelons of Imperial society are reserved for the Force-sensitive Sith alone, but theirs is a world apart. The heart of the Empire consists of millions of subjects, descendants of the original exiles who settled Droman Kos. For these loyal citizens, the Imperial Agent is the exemplar of the highest level of achievement one might aspire to. These are the people that the agent risks everything to protect. Though there are few idealists in Imperial Intelligence, the art of professional perfection is held in deep reverence, and the agent embodies the Imperial ideal in this respect. By the way, of the 4 Empire classes, this is the one we're actually going to be mainly focusing on making light side choices. I did a full run, the male agent I referred to earlier, he was mainly just dark side. It was not bad, but I've also seen what it's like to go through light side, and well, let's just say it sometimes can get more interesting if you do light side choices as an agent. But that's something I'll go ahead and I'll let show off as we go through this run. In case you're curious, I decided to go with an operative. My main male agent is a sniper in marksmanship. It wasn't bad. I decided to go with operative, and we're going to go with lethality. So I can be able to do damage as well as being able to have some heals handy. What I find interesting is that if you're a sniper, of course, you mainly just use sniper rifles. And operatives use blaster rifles, but you also get a vibro knife. And I love that. I love that that's just a little thing. But, by the way, apparently also tactical advantage is a resource as well. But I love the idea that an agent would, of course, have their main weapon, but then also have a backup weapon, like a knife. Like, they have their range weapon, but if someone gets in close, then they can pull out their knife in order to be able to defend themselves, as opposed to just having a rifle. I just like that little touch. It's a nice little extra addition there. But, yeah, that's the operative role. They can mainly just go into a full healing spec if they wanted to. Yeah. It's not bad. I don't think the gameplay is all that bad. So here we go. Gonna go ahead and turn down the game sound, of course, because of course I will. So, the Imperial Agent. It is a pivotal time for the Sith Empire. Having secured an uneasy truce with the Galactic Republic, the Empire now seeks allies among the neutral systems. The foul planet Hutta is the Empire's latest target, but its wealthy and corrupt crime lords refuse to take sides in the Cold War between Republic and Empire. To tip the scales, Imperial Intelligence's latest shadowy operative has been dispatched to Hutta under command of the Empire's mysterious spy master. So, yeah. Just to round it out, for those of you who've been following kind of in the order I've been doing this, which has been Warrior, Inquisitor, Bounty Hunter, and then Agent. The Hunter, of course, started here on Hutta. And the Agent starts here on Hutta, so that's why you'll see both Agents and Hunters running around. And in case you didn't pick up from that story, yeah, we are one of the ciphers, one of those top-notch agents that the Imperial Intelligence. I just love how that title. I just love how that sounds. Imperial Intelligence. And of course, many of the people of the Empire. People have commented on how it seems like almost every person of the Empire talks with like a British accent. It is what it is, I say. I'm not one of those who makes a big deal out of how many dialects or accents are out there. That's just not me. But it's also kind of funny and fitting for me, only because of as I said, I can't help but think of this like special spy with espionage and such, and not, of course, make the comparison to James Bond. That's actually one of the reasons why I kind of named my male agent after Sean Connery, because, of course, he's my favorite Bond, and he always will be. But, just that comparison to, you can't almost help yourself but want to play your agent as if you are Bond, James Bond, or just in that style, because, of course, partly because we're playing a female agent, it's a little different, but in terms of how she goes about things. But she's also going to be doing things the light side, of course, so she's going to try and get things done without too much bloodshed and killing. She will if she has to, but she's a much kinder person than that. Plus, it's also going to be interesting to see if there's any differences that they've added from playing as a Chiss compared to, say, playing as a human, because, as we have also learned, the Empire is not exactly too kind towards alien races. They mainly embrace and endorse humans over aliens, compared to the Republic. So, an alien race such as a Chiss, for example, making it in these kind of ranks amongst the Empire is, well, not necessarily a small thing. And I guess because on a place like Hutta, they wouldn't really question a Chiss being here. Tons of aliens here. Why would they question a Chiss being on Hutta? Appears to be a teensy bit of clipping issues, I guess. I noticed it with the eyes there for a moment. Oh, notice that? She wondered if they were after her, so she was like, I'm gonna help him with this to throw them off. Very nice. Don't mind me, just going into the cantina. Watch this. This to me is a great way to start things off.
Secure transmission established. This is Keeper. We may speak freely, Agent. Prepare to receive your orders.
Keeper, should I be thanking you for these lovely accommodations?
Don't get cute and don't waste my time. You're here to work.
Alright, sorry. Hold on. Don't worry, I'll skip all that. Come on. There we go.
I take it you're my handler.
Correct. I'm speaking to you from service headquarters on Drummond Cast. I'll be directing you personally on this mission. Secure transmission established. This is Keeper. We may speak freely, Agent. Prepare to receive your orders.
I'm ready, sir. What's the assignment?
In short, subversion. You were chosen for this operation because of your exemplary...
Nah, you know what? Hold on. I started thinking either she could play this, just like normally, although this is not helping this camera angle. Okay, hold on. Sorry. Just trying to skip all this.
Secure transmission
Alright, here we go.
established. This is Keeper. We may speak freely, Agent. Prepare to receive...
I started thinking, how would Bond respond here if he was being contacted by M in this regard? He would walk in and be like, "Nice place."
Keeper, should I be thanking you for these lovely accommodations?
Don't get cute and don't waste my time. You're here to work.
That's a very Bond-like response.
Exemplary performance during training. Imperial intelligence needs agents capable of working independently in the field. Now you apply your training to the real world. Nemro the Hutt and his organization run Jaguna, and you're in town to convince Nemro to supply the Empire.
Give me background. What are we working from?
Jaguna is an industrial town, and Nemro runs most of the industry. The Hutt supplies weapons, drugs, and raw materials, but not to us. We believe Nemro has been reluctant to lose Republic customers by publicly siding with the Empire. It's time he overcame this reluctance.
By force? Or did you have another method in mind?
It's too early to say for certain. We need to know what Nemro and his advisors are thinking before we can act. I want you to obtain access to the Nemro clan's inner circle. You'll require a cover identity. One of our contacts, an alien named Jig, has prepared a background for you and will provide the details.
Trust me, Keeper, I don't need any help to get close to a hut.
Don't underestimate the Nemro clan. The galaxy has seen more effective gangsters, but rarely more sadistic ones. Jig will be waiting for you at a safe house. Locate him, take what he offers, then report to me.
Are we sure this contact is trustworthy?
Jig won't betray us. Whether he succeeds at his assigned tasks is another matter. I'd be more concerned with the rest of the populace. Most of Jaguna is caught up in a turf war. Some of the gangs involved belong to the Hutts. Others are independent. Your combat training should see you through, but expect brutality and expect to be targeted. Jaguna isn't friendly to strangers. Now, find Jig and report back to me. Keep her out.
Okay. One of the things I like about Joe Wyatt's voice acting is that she can pull off the wittiness and the sarcastic tone that I was kind of going for there. Like I said, very Bond.
You must be looking for someone else.
Poia tu kadanga. Na chuba ni dori. Na toda. Da ida wana wanda. Conchuta. Kasu yali koira. Tokangi kom.
I don't trust you.
Okay. Right, hold on. No, not that one. There's other ones I have to kind of get myself to, you know. Hold on, leave that there. Of course, he doesn't have a blaster rifle. Thanks, HK-55. I can't find the right, Okay, there's one right there. I'm also trying to find the right pieces I need. There we go, that should be fine. Okay.
This should help.
Oops. I'll work on those later. And commit to the light side. Hello.
Acrodonomales, smogas total gisbavo apiatai.
Talk fast. I don't want to be seen with you.
Varso total man. Vataranai angomis akananorm, alas protas era. Gratai aptikte, iruprit vertini savasia sa vebe kaigis.
If there's another red blade out there, won't that be a problem?
Smal sio poputus mana ira padare mana nan kali. Vataranai angomis akananorm, alas protas era.
What kind of interference?
Acrodonomales, smogas total gisbavo apiatai. Gratai aptikte, iruprit vertini savasia sa vebe kaigis.
They'll probably sell what they stole. What if we made them an offer?
Padravimos brandimus prostis cad adveretag. Vataranai angomis akananorm, alas protas era.
So, in case you're curious, hey, are there any interesting, like, armors involving, you know, for agents and such? Well, let's take a look here. I mean, there's one here, like the Cyber Agent. Now, this is literally called the Intelligence Agent's Armor Set. I mean... it's not bad. It's not bad. I actually could get it. I'm actually considering actually getting that. And then there's one here where apparently it's like... interesting. But, yeah. That's basically like... Now, if we search Imperial, that's a little different. Imperial personnel. Apparently you can be able to get a number of these other things here. But those are just stronghold decorations, unfortunately, not like actual armors and such. So, I don't know, maybe I actually will pick that up for our agent here. But, I don't know, we'll see. It's something I'll consider. You know, plus, in terms of, like I was saying, when it comes to, say, what if we want to get a special blaster rifle for her? Well, for one thing, we gotta make sure it's a blaster rifle and not a sniper rifle. You can see here, it's like, I mean, some of the designs aren't bad, but like some of these sort of can kind of look cool. I will say some of the sniper rifles actually look kind of cool, you know, with the scopes and everything. This one actually looks more like, you know, this is a blaster rifle, looks more like a shotgun with that, you know, just kind of like that bottom part there. You can see it almost looks like a pump, but anyways. They got these gorilla rifles here, which actually are not bad. I've seen the pistol version, I thought it almost looked a little silly, but when I look at this, it's like, oh gosh, then you add, like, the pistol version is just this here, but then the rifle version is like you add this on top of it, and here's the sniper rifle version where you add a scope on top of that. That's not bad. But the operative can't use sniper rifles, only blaster rifles. Now, if you play as a sniper, then you could use sniper rifles. But, yeah. So, I don't know. Maybe I'm considering it. It's something I'm thinking about. So, I am going to go ahead and cut off here. I actually got to go ahead and mail this character stuff that I sent to a different character. So I could, after I made this character, I could then mail it to her. So, I'm going to do some off-camera stuff, and then we will continue our story of the Imperial Agent. Stay tuned.